Hi there, we're back with another top, but this time it's different. I had an idea of making top 3 of different categories, but then I thought that it would be just too few games.
And too boring, perhaps.
Yeah, so I invited Alina. She agreed to do her top 3 so we can do it together. I had another idea. The thing is, I asked few people who I know who would give their favorites in different categories and give us few comments as well. And I will read them out loud. So it might be more interesting. We'll see. It depends what you think about this one. So I'll just give you mine, my top 3. Alina will give her top 3, and then we will read some comments and games from other people. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. So let's go to the first category. The top 3, I'll be doing this in separate videos. The first category is top 3 two-player games. So the top 3 two-player games. Now I had a small criteria how to do this list. The thing is that I wanted the games that are exclusively for 2 players, where there's 2 players written on the box. Mm-hmm. Although there might be some exceptions. I know that there aren't, for example, there isn't Hiroshima Hex on anyone's list. Small spoiler, but for me, Hiroshima Hex is a 2-player game, exclusively 2-player game with variants for other players. Although on the box it says 1 to 4.
So that makes the game not 2-player game exclusively. So that's just Ilja's fantasies.
Exceptions. So, but let's go with the number 3.
Mm-hmm. Just a few comments from my side. I found this quite hard to make because we play quite a lot games with just 2 of us, and we enjoyed quite a lot, and there are so many games that we enjoy playing just 2, but exclusively 2-player games, that when we just wrote down all of them, it was quite surprising. They were not the favorite ones, and there was not as many as I actually expected them to be.
Yeah. Well, all right. So sure. Let's go to the third place, and for me, the third place is Marvel Dice Masters. Now it's an exclusively 2-player game where each of you has some cards and dice. That's basically also the combat game. It's based on couriers, but it's all about the and I mean the Marvel Dice Masters. I mean these Marvel superheroes. I collect only those. And what you basically do, you have your dice and you have your team that you can buy dice from. So you will eventually roll the dice, get the energy to buy new dice into your bag. It's like pulling dice from the bag and making combat with them. And your opponent does the same, and you battle with each other. And it's really quick, it's fast, it's I don't know, just cool. And the theme is cool, and everything's cool. Lots of dice, lots of custom dice. I love that.
Played it few times. There was quite a long time ago. I remember I didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't recall now exact reasons, but it was like just not my type. Mm-hmm. It's not bad game though, but it just
I can understand. It's all about like going
you have to think there's some way that I'm not good at.
Yeah, I like that.
My top 3 game is Raptor by both Brunos, Bruno Faidutti and Bruno Catala. It's a genius game for 2 players. The game mechanics are so simple, so straightforward, but the decisions you have to make are different. I like the way that it is a symmetric game, so that you have to play differently if you have like different sides. And the way you need to figure out, you're constantly not just thinking about how to play your turns and your cards, but you have to constantly think what would other player do. So outthinking opponent is, first of all, really fun, and secondly, really thematical as well. Because you try to either you're a scientist, you try to outsmart the raptor, or the opposite, you're a raptor and you try to outsmart the humans.
Yeah, scientists. Yeah, that's a cool choice. I like that.
Oh, yeah, do you?
My top 2 is Seven Wonders Duel. I think it's not a surprise because this game has skyrocketed to the top 100 of Board Game Geek, for example, and it's a 2-player version of a really popular game, Seven Wonders. You're basically drafting cards from the sort of a pyramid of cards from the center, and it's really fast-paced. You're just grabbing resources or some more points or science cards that you can get the science tokens for, or you're building the wonders that give you extra turns, more gold, more actions, whatever. So it's really easy. It's all iconography. It's very fast, but it's also very tense, where you see that your opponent is going towards the scientific victory, so you're grabbing away the scientific cards from him, or you're marching with the military, you're getting lots of military cards, so your opponent has to watch over what cards you will get, and when you take the cards, some cards will open, and it's always like a sort of a push your luck. So I really want this card, but if I take this card, the other 2 cards will open, and something really cool might be under there for my opponent to get. So I really like the combination, the linking of the cards, that I can get some cards for free because I have the other cards and so on. It's just so fast and engaging and tense.
Yeah, this type of game should be fast-paced. So take card, put back, take card, put back, put in your playing area, and that's exactly how it works. So I enjoyed quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
Just not as much as Ilya.
So, but what's your number
My
2?
top 2 is Tail Feathers.
Okay.
This game is entirely out of my comfort zone. You have to think differently. You have to. It's quite hard to explain because this is not my type of game, but it has so much in it. The way you have to think, how you maneuver the birds, the way you have to see and outsmart opponent, you have to like figure out the way you want to go so that you wouldn't like rush into others, and the way you have to figure out how your team works, how your either mice work, which are their powers, how do they work together, or if you have rats, what is the strategy for them?
Yeah,
and the mission cards that you put on the table, these are quite cool, but it's just a like really smart and nice addition. So overall, it has so much in it, and you can play this game in so many different ways. I'm really looking forward to playing it more. Just didn't play enough, especially as it was like the game that I need to learn how to play, and I personally had to think how, like I had to change my thinking in that game. It's not, if you're just a Euro style person, like I think I'm more like a Euro style person, that was actually quite hard to understand. How should I think?
It's an area combat, like for example the X-Wing or Attack Wing. I have the Attack Wing.
I haven't played those, so that was my first.
But in my opinion, I haven't played the X-Wing, but I have the Dungeons & Dragons Attack Wing. It's very similar to that one. The Tail Feathers is a bit different story. I think it has a bit more theme maybe to it.
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
Probably, and it's like, it feels different. It feels completely different because you have, although in Dungeons & Dragons Attack Wing you have ground troops as well, but here you feel like you have a forest, you have trees, and you have ground troops going somewhere on the missions, and then you have birds and those pilots riding on the birds. You feel all that theme, and what makes this game really cool. It didn't end up on my list because I just need to play it more. We played it a long time ago. We played it twice, basically.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's I liked it, but I just need to get more out of this game to understand if I really like this game, if I really enjoy this game, if it's one of my top 2-player games. So, but it's a very good choice. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, the two playing times was definitely not enough for me as well, but it was absolutely enough to understand that this game has so much hidden gems in it that I didn't discover yet, and I feel that I want to. And the more you play, the better you will be. The more intuitive will be your decisions, and the more you're gonna enjoy.
Yeah. All right. So number one, my number one pick for 2-player games is Raptor. Maybe you have seen my top 10 of all time, and maybe you got a small spoiler, but Raptor is everything that Alina said. It's also really tense, outguessing your opponent. It's all about, for me, it's all about playing the cards down and then revealing them and then seeing what you get. The higher number gets the difference in the actions, the lower
action
number,
points.
action points, and in the action points, and the lower number gets the action on the card. Sometimes you really need the action on the card. For example, the scientist. At one point, the Raptor will eat all your scientists. You have one scientist left, and you are on the verge of being defeated. And now you really need new scientists. So you have to play a card, and you have, like, so for example, there's a scientist card, number 6. So if I play number 6, you should play number 7 through 9.
Yeah. And if you're smart Raptor player, for example, in this situation, you should look forward. You should figure out that he wants to get some more scientists on the board. So you have to always
do the fire. It's all about outguessing your opponent, and it's really thematical. It's so cool. It's so fast as well. It depends. We think a lot, but
we think a lot because what we like in the game is outsmarting, outthinking opponent, and this includes thinking.
Yeah, and it becomes like a circle.
But that's what we enjoy in the game.
Yeah.
That's why it's not like half an hour game.
Depends. Yeah, in this game, what we enjoy in this game, because here is like, I think if you will put this card, then I should put this card, but then you will put this card, and I should put this and this and this and this and this and this, and it goes on. But it's not AP prone game though. There aren't that many choices that you can make on your turn, so really cool.
Yeah.
Your number one?
My number one, I think I'm gonna surprise you. I think I am.
Probably, yeah.
This is not a modern board game. That's more like a classical.
Okay.
It's a Go game.
Go.
I didn't play it way too many times, at least with a live opponent. I played it really many times in the computer and in a web environment, in the chat where you could chat with a real person,
with AI.
No, not with the computer. I mean, actually, with the person.
All right.
I used to play that when I was doing night shifts in a hotel, and used to play that during nights because there was it was daytime in US and lots of players there. It's a board with grids. You have white stones, you have black stones. It's abstract game. You might think it's so plain, but no. If I've heard the comparison said that if chess is a combat, then Go is war. It actually feels like that. When you finish and look at the board, you actually feel like, okay, this was a hard battle. And I got this really easy because he made a really slim 6, so you really see stuff going on there. So it's so live, it's so wow. It's incredibly fun. I'm really sorry that Ilya doesn't want to play it, because he's not into abstract games, but this is one of the best games. I will never get rid of the game in our collection, and I feel like when we are, retired and, having time in cafeteria somewhere, then I hope we might play that game. Yeah. Because that's a really, really, really good one.
They should make it in the Mystic Seniors.
The thing is that as it's abstract, it's quite hard to outsmart opponent. But you need to do that, kind of constantly, because otherwise the opponent will see what you're trying to do. But if you have just so plain turn after turn and just black white stones, then it's hard, but it's really needed.
Yeah, I understand why this game has made it through many thousand years, but
Yes.
it's very boring.
It's not,
For me.
because Ilya didn't actually play it. Ilya tried once, he lost like in 10 minutes because he was learning.
No,
but
I
he
tried it
didn't-
online as well once. So
That
Yeah.
doesn't count. So
Alright,
Ilya
yeah.
haven't played it actually. It's
okay,
not boring.
okay, yeah. So we have picked our
Oh, yeah.
top 3, and now let's go to our friends who have written their small comments and their favorite games. So let's go first with, I see here, Kyle. Kyle has said that his favorite two-player game is Summoner Wars, and he says, this shouldn't be really a surprise, and nothing comes close to the tension and excitement of this tight tactical combat game. Not only the greatest two-player game, this is the greatest game there is. Full stop. Exclamation point.
Kyle has, whenever he goes to gaming nights, he has a badge where it's written Summoner Wars anyone? So he kind of always wants to play
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a good game. Quite cool. Lots
Yes, we have tried. We had this game in our collection. We traded it away because at that point we didn't really play that type of combat style sort of card games. And even right now, as you can see, Alina doesn't really like Marvel Dice Masters because of that. Just not her style. So, but it's a cool game. Yeah.
I totally understand people who love it. Absolutely.
So then we have here the other one is Margaret, or you know her as Maggybot, and she says,
Her choices are going to be really interesting. They're different.
yeah, and her choice here is Oddball Aeronauts. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I think so.
Yeah, Oddball Aeronauts. You will see the picture here, so you will find it. This multifaceted game is delightful, replayable, and adorable. Better than that, one must possess a clever wit and careful bluffing to score over your opponent. The art just puts it right over the top. For a city like Seattle, you're likely going to need a game that can be played without a table while you wait for lunch or at a concert. So that's her. I have seen
I think
this.
we should look into it, no?
I've seen this game, and it has, if I remember correctly, it has that sort of steampunk setting to it, and I skipped this game because of the artwork. I remember that I didn't like the artwork that much. It was weird for me, but we should take a look into this game.
Yeah, we should.
Probably, maybe we can overlook the artwork and play the game.
Let's see. Artwork is much more important for me. Ilya can play a game with artwork he doesn't like, but for me it's super hard. And
Golden
I
Ages.
don't see a reason why should I force myself to play a game with ugly artwork when there is so many games to choose from which are really good with at least decent artwork.
Yeah.
Like,
There are so many games that you can choose whatever you want. So, and the last person right now that we have here is Jeff. Jeff has a good choice, probably. We played this game, it's Patchwork. And he says, this game is unlike any other two-player games I have in my collection, with the circle of patches to select, the time board and the quilt puzzle to solve. It is so casual and easy to teach. A big plus is that my wife will let me bring it to the table anytime.
cool.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of a casual game where that you can play with your wife or whoever you want. It's a really easy game. We had this game, we played this game. The thing about this one, for me, that I personally felt that it doesn't have a big replayability. And for me, the word replayability means different things. Yes, the tiles around there in the circle are always different. like the position of the tiles. But everything is samey.
Yeah.
You just grab the tile and put it
We
there.
do all
Just
the same thing.
it. There's nothing really, outstanding there. So it was an okay game.
It was really fun enjoying to play these few times.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
it's not the game that I would miss.
Plus, it's an abstract game, so
I'm really into abstract games.
not me.
But
so.
unfortunately not Ilya, so that's the reason that abstract games don't stay in our collection for too long. The goal will never get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I want to buy the beautiful board sometimes.
Yeah, and I will not get rid of the Marvel Dice Masters.
No problem.
Sorry. Alright, so these were the picks from our friends. Big thanks to them as well. And we'll see you in the next video where we'll be talking about whatever we'll be talking about. So we'll see you in the next video.
Yep.
So, bye bye.